Hello, this is Kyle Van Hook, and I'm here to show you this progress that I've made on the in 3D assignment for game programming. First, I'd like to start off by showing you gameplay and everything that can happen. All right, starting with both the camera and the ship, we can rotate, we can move backwards and forwards using W and D. We can do a barrel roll and rotate. Well, not rotate. Roll using a Q and E, and we can change our pitch using Z and X. Our camera does stay behind our character, which is great. It does look at a designated spot character where it does have a look point, and the camera does look at that look point. Oh no, it's not here. It's on the main camera. And it has all of those it has the rotation speed, it has move speed, it has offset minimum, which is the minimum for the offset, and a camera Y offset and a camera Z offset that you can tweak. Going back in, you can press O to increase the offset, well, decrease the offset closer to the ship, and you can press L to increase the offset so you can get a bigger point of view out. We are using gravity. Come on, please. I'd like to not touch the floor and explode. As we can see in the craft, we are using gravity. Oh, we're not using gravity? Oh yeah, that's because depending on how fast we're going, I have it to setting the gravity on and off. So we do still technically move. And we also die. We also die on death with the character. Or not the character, with the floor, with the walls and the pillars over here. But moving forward, we do I would like to show that we do have a projectile that we can shoot. You can see there. On collision with something hard like this, it will destroy itself. You can also see we have a particle system, which is what I spent time learning how to make. Let me get this. We have LevelData that has an obstacle in it, just to collect it. And the LevelData also has just the game bounds that haven't been set yet, but the entire area, the floor to basically the entire floor is 100 by 100. Because eventually we're going to be making the bounds. I hate these controls. All right, anyways. To show, we do have an obstacle object here that does have a health and death component, and it destroys itself on contact with the object, or with the projectile. The obstacle, it has two collisions, which I should probably render down into one damage on overlap. Well, I have damage on overlap and damage on collision. I was just learning. But they're not set to insta-kill right now. So I'd like to at least show you for the craft speeder, we have where's my health? Health is right here. So on collision, we do take one, and if we keep colliding in it, we will eventually die. 2, 1 more. All right, that's good. And I've already shown you that we can collide and die on it with the unintentionally with the floor. That works, but also the big cube and the 4 pillars at each side of the map also do the same. All right. We have a game quitter, but that's not really needed right now. I think that's all of the camera system combat. Player does collision. Yeah, player also has health and death component. We have the ship. No, that yeah, ship health component, and then we have ship destroy component, which is the death component. It also uses the pawn and controller class. We basically have a custom shipPawn script that is an abstract class from just a regular pawn. Likewise, we have a player controller empty object here that has the ship controller, which grabs the pawn, and that is another ship controller is another class that inherits the abstract class controller. We have a user HUD. Well, you've seen we have a user HUD for the last couple minutes of this. Come on. Currently we have 3 lives, and if I can aim myself, I can show you that yes, our score does in fact increase on destroying that. So we're using the game manager to get the score from the projectile or from the destroyed object, and we're constantly keeping track of the player lives. We haven't done anything else with it, but it's just set up and ready to go for the next assignment. Now I'm going to show you the script, the scripts. This is the UI manager. We just moved it over and got rid of some stuff that we don't need right now from the other one. This is our game manager. Again, just kind of moved over and got rid of. I should set the player spawn, but it's player pawn. But right now I don't need it right now. I'll need that when when death and instantiation is supposed to start. But we do get the score, and we're tracking the player lives. We're making sure that there's only one game manager in instance right now. We do have this set so that we can get the bounding box from the level data, but we'll do that later. This is our destroy. This is the obstacles health. It's basically the same as all the other stuff. I think all you really want is to be shown the new stuff. We have our level data, which gets the game manager instance, and yeah, it gets the bounds here, and then puts them to their respective max x's. We have the FollowPlayer component, which is on the camera that makes the camera follow the player whenever they're moving. We are getting the transform of the player and the transform of the lookout point, or the look point. We have public rotation speed, move speed, the offset minimum and maximum, camera Y offset and camera Z offset. This is basically where we want the camera to originally be when we're starting. And we're basically setting up the camera offset on the start. And here we're checking if camera offset Z is greater than the offset minimum, which is I think -5, or camera offset Z is less than offset max, in which case offset max is -10, I think. We'll basically just set the offset Z to -5 in the middle, and then the players should be able to increase or decrease it whenever they want. This is just in case someone puts in a number that isn't legal. Oh yeah, I need to move these to the player controller, which means well, we're basically getting the for the whole thing. We're getting the transform position of the player. We're also getting the rotation, and then we're making sure to pretty much constantly be looking at the point. And for our decrease offset, we are checking if the code, well, this should be in the controller, but we're checking if the controller is down and pressed. If the camera offset.z is less than or equal to offset min, camera offset z will then be incremented, which in this case that means negative, or we're going to be decreasing, making it smaller. And then increase offset is kind of the opposite. Whenever the L is set, we will be doing offset. We'll be checking if it does not equal offset max, we're going to be incrementing, or at least making it go farther away. At least that's how I have it set up. We have a pawn abstract class here. We have the pawn shipPawn, which this is the checking if the rigid body is using gravity. We're checking if the linear velocity and the magnitude is greater than 3. And if it is true, we're going to set gravity to true, and then we're going to make the physics equal a negative force of gravity down. And then if not, then we're just going to change the use gravity to false. And then in the pawn, we are using making a forward vector, transform forward times stress b times delta. That gives us our forward vector. Then we're doing rigid body add force with the forward vector and the force mode dot force, which basically specifies how the force mode is used. And then here is where we're adding just a little bit of transform or a force up to kind of push back against gravity so you can actually fly. Because otherwise it's a pain to fly when gravity is on. And we're just getting the thrust speed and we're dividing it in half and then multiplying it by times delta. That's good, and I should either decrease the thrust speed or probably just decrease the gravity. And move back is pretty much the same, except we're going in the opposite forward direction. Rotate has in controller has different values. Basically, if it is a positive value, actually no, there's two functions. One makes it do a positive one, and one makes it do a negative one. Basically, it will get a right vector, and for some reason we used right up, but that was the way it worked, or the thing that worked for me. We're going to apply the up vector by the rotate value, and then we're going to rotate the right vector by on its own self space. And this was originally using torque, but then I reread the object parameters, and I kind of agreed that I think being able to actually at least rotate without spinning wildly is pretty nice. Pitch is the same or similar. It uses the right vector instead of the up vector. And we use transform with well. We have roll, which uses the forward vector, and we're going to do the rotate value there, and then rotate around. Yeah, we're basically doing forward times the rotate value times delta. It works, so I'm not going to question it. And then this was before I added before I added setting gravity. So that's set on and off. This is just a rise. That if I press I don't know what button it is in the ship controller, but I would basically just rise. That way I could at least take off when gravity was 0. It's not really that needed now because if I land on the floor, it will kill me, but there's that. This is the abstract controller that we made. It basically just has mention of a public pawn and make decisions class or not method. And this is the shipController. We have it's an abstract from the controller. We're making decisions, and I don't really need to explain it. This is basically just key inputs, but I can't explain it for like not move backwards, like moving left and right for yaw. We're basically for one of them we're keeping the value the same. For the other, we're multiplying it by -1 just to get the opposite value. And that's the same for the pitch, and that's the same for the roll. And rise there. The object is the key is R, and space for shooting is or at least the key for shooting is space. In which case, I think that's pretty much everything that I needed to show you. I can show you this. I think I mentioned already, but I did make I did learn how to make and instantiate a particle system. And this is that explosion running on its own. But yeah, I learned how to make this just as something new to add and just as something new to add to my test game here. I think yeah, that's pretty much everything. Thank you for joining in. I hope you have a good day. Bye bye.